Hey, just wanted to record a real quick video. I swear I always say that at the beginning of every video, and it turns into a 20 or 30 or 40 minute rambling. But I really want this one to be super quick because I just noticed something on the Bitcoin chart. Um, you know, Previous videos that I've been making have been pointing to the fact that we needed a decent correction, which I believe that we got. It's just that nobody knew how low it was going to go. It did not necessarily need to go that low for it to rebound and go higher with the right set of circumstances. We got some lukewarm news from the Fed today, which was neither really bullish nor bearish. But sometimes no news is good news. Sorry, it's getting late here and I haven't really slept, but just wanted to look what type of correction are we currently looking at? From the peak to where we bottomed yesterday, we're looking at about a 17.5% correction. In my estimation, based on current metrics and momentum and everything like that, I would assume a 17.5% correction would be enough, enough of a break for this thing to begin going higher. Again, this is not financial advice. It could go either direction. For all I know, it could just decide to dump another 20%, if that's what it decided to do. But the thing that I noticed on the chart and the thing that I wanted to point out is these spinning top candles are rare, especially for how perfect this one is. It nearly has almost identical, it's basically a mirror image on both the top and bottom end. And what does this point to? It means over the course of this week, and again, this is the weekly chart, over the course of this entire week, the price went up to 73.8 and down to 64.5, but closed at 68.3, pretty much right in the middle. And what does that say? That means the Bulls and Bears were having a tug of war contest, and it was a literal tie. Maybe a little bit for the Bears, but this isn't enough to really call it a decisive win. Now, when things started to fall pretty significantly, we were starting to think, well, maybe the low 50s could be possible, mid 50s, something like that, maybe even a little bit lower. It's looking like that might not be the case, at least right now. We have to wait to see how this candle closes at Sunday at midnight. So we want to see what transpires. We still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all of Sunday. So we have more than half of the week to get through. This candle could still end up closing down below and things could still roll over. But as of 10:51 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday night, what is today, the 20th, March 20th, this is looking incredibly bullish. And the reason why I say that is because we just had the same formation. Now, this wasn't a spinning top candle because it appeared at the bottom. Oh, I guess it's still technically called a spinning top, even though it's at the bottom. But when they occur at the top or the bottom of a formation, that signals a significant price movement. A significant price movement coming, whether it's higher or lower. We may have already gotten the lower. We may have already flushed that out, and we may be looking at higher because of this massive hammer candle that we're repeating here. So when we had our correction back in January after the ETF news, things flew up, they hit 49 grand, and they came back down. We got this hammer. When you get a wick on a long time frame like this, on the weekly time frame, a wick that is that long, well, I shouldn't actually call it a wick. It's actually a leg. When you get a leg that long, and this candle is going to close somewhere in this area, maybe even a little bit higher. I don't know. If this thing closes green, look out, because I think we are looking at very high likelihood. If this candle closes almost green or green, we are very likely to get the same type of move that we just went through in late January and February up through the middle of March. And I don't know if it's going to be the same multiple. I mean, is it going to go up, 100% or 92% like this one did? I don't know. It could be less. It could be more. But if the next run went up 92% from the bottom, you are looking at, we'll just say 90% for a nice round number. You're looking at $116,000. And I'm laughing because this is now what we're talking about. We're now talking about six-figure Bitcoin. It's insane. It's just hard to fathom. We're going into the halving. The halving is what, April 16th, I believe, something like that. It's less than a month away. Oh man, I don't know. We could run into the halving and then dump after that. I really don't know. We have to be prepared for anything, and I am back in the position where I think I may need to be putting the rest of my cards back on the table. But yeah, so man, it's crazy times right now to look at what's possible. Again, we have a long way to go. We still have 4 days to get through. Anything can happen between now and then. Things are looking real juicy right now, but that can always turn on a dime, and we could still be looking at some of these lower levels. Again, if we don't get lower levels, the longer we go without retesting that bull market support band, you know what? I'm just going to add it to this. I don't know if this is it. No, it's probably not it. I don't know what that indicator is. I'll have to look to see if I can find that same indicator that I'm using on another chart. But anyway, as I was saying, the longer we go without retesting the bull market support band, which is currently in the high 40s, the harder it is for us to find it as support in the future. So again, we could fly up through $100,000 all the way up to like what, 125, 150. I don't even know where the top would be. But once it runs out of steam and it wants to turn and roll over, it could be a falling knife situation. Now, that could be months from now. It could be weeks from now. It could be days from now. I have no idea. But again, this is the candle. This candle is insane. This is a very long leg on a weekly candle. And just looking back at very, very recent history, we don't have to go back very far to potentially repeat what we just printed on this chart back in January. A spinning top candle followed by a green hammer. I'm not personally technically advanced enough to be able to tell you whether or not having a red hammer would be still bullish. I would think it is. I don't necessarily think it has to close green, but it would be way more bullish if it did close green. If it closed above 69,000, something like that. Anything close to 70, I mean, we could potentially be off to the races. So I'm going to be watching this thing like a hawk. Unfortunately, I do have to sleep sometimes, so I can't watch it 24/7. But it's literally the first thing I check when I wake up, and probably the last thing I check before I go to sleep, just to see if anything crazy is happening that needs to be taken advantage of. But I don't know, guys. Keep your eyes out. Watch this formation. Watch for next week's candle. See where things open, and be ready for whichever direction this thing wants to head. Finally, I think I'm going to call it here and actually have a shorter video for once. Thanks again for watching. Smash that like button and follow if you are loving the content. To my 3 followers, thank you so much. Maybe I'll have double digits one day. I'm Tyson France, and happy trading.